So it's been a while since we have recorded anything for our channel. So today we decided to talk about school, how it was like for us to grow up in school, and then in the end we'll give tips for teachers to help deaf students in class, help them succeed in class. Jessica, would you like to start?
Yeah, I got my first hearing aid when I was in the first grade. When did you get your first one?
It was the same for me.
First
First
grade
grade
too?
is, yeah.
What was your initial response to them? How did you like them?
Honestly, I loved my hearing aid when I first got it. Like, I remember even kids in my class or friends, they wanted to try it on, and everyone in my class thought it was so cool, or my friends thought it was so cool. Like, I could hear all these sounds that I could never hear before. And it was just like the coolest thing, right? What about you?
Yeah, same. I loved it. Everyone loved it. Everybody thought it was so cool. We used to play games with it. It was really exciting, like the new toy, but it was my new toy, and everyone thought it was cool. So I really liked it when I first got them. When did you start to not like them, your hearing aids?
I think I want to say maybe like grade 4, grade 5, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Like, I remember one of my first memories of not wanting to wear it. They sent me to the principal's office because I didn't want to put it on. And then the principal came up to me and he's like, I wear glasses. I have to wear them and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of the same as hearing aids. You need to wear your hearing aids. Like, I have to wear my glasses. And yeah, from there, I just never wanted to wear them.
I'm trying to think. I think I started to dislike them around the same time, but I don't think I started to refuse to wear them until like the seventh grade when we moved out of town. I was in a new school, and suddenly I was surrounded with people that never knew me, never knew about hearing aids, didn't understand. And I think I was shy and didn't want to be different or weird or to stand out. And I think it was grade 7, grade 8. That's when I was really like, nope, not wearing it. You can't make me. Not gonna happen. So that's when it really started to progress in a negative way for me, unfortunately. Is there anything else you wanted to add about hearing aids in elementary school?
So, how would you think how would you want teachers to respond to that? Like, would you want them to force you to wear them?
Well, you wouldn't have been able to force me to do anything when I was a kid. I think what would have worked the best for me if teachers didn't single me out, didn't make me the focus, didn't have everyone's attention on me about it. I think they would have been able to get me to wear them again had they not made me feel like I was the center of attention in that situation. If it would have been more of a private situation opposed to being said in front of people and teachers and students, I think I would have started wearing them again. So I wish they would have been more mindful of the fact that I was a young kid that was easily influenced by the people around me, which were other students that were the same age as me or even older than me. I think if it would have been handled in a more delicate way, they might have been able to reach me and to be more proactive in wearing them. So, what about you? What are some things that teachers could have done for you that would have helped you?
Well, what really got me wearing them again was when they basically told me, like, even my mom told me, like, if you don't wear them, you're going to fail grade 5. Like, they literally said that. They're like, you're gonna fail. You won't pass grade 5. You won't be with their peers. Like, you need to start wearing them now. And that actually scared me. So I started wearing them a bit more. But even still, after that, I was still forgetting to wear them to school. And whenever I forgot them, they would make me walk home and get them and put them on. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to attend class. So, like, I literally had to wear them anyway.
Yeah.
I still wear them in school, but I didn't start wearing them like all the time until like grade 10. But the fact that they scared me into failing made me think like, oh no, I should wear them again. Like I need to.
At least it worked for you. I don't know if that would have worked for me.
It's hard. Everyone's different, but sure.
That it's important that teachers get to know students and understand them, and to be to put themselves in that student's position when they were that age. If you try to force students to do things, it's not going to work. It's not going to reach them. You have to have empathy and be understanding, especially at
Exactly.
such a young age. Even in high school, I think it's really important that teachers kind of step back and realize it's not about the teacher, it's about the student. So what can I do for the student to make them feel comfortable and safe and accepted?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe like find out why they don't want to wear it.
Yeah.
What's making them not want to wear it. I'm not sure. But what you said is true. Sign language is so important to have in school, and I'm surprised like we never had access to it in school. Did you?
Never.
They
Never.
never assigned to me in school. They never taught it to me. And because I grew up speaking, I was able to speak. And I thought, like, oh, I can hear, I have hearing aids, or like, I have a little bit of hearing without them. I was like, I don't need sign language.
I think they were intentional about it, though. I think back then there was this heavy focus on deaf people learning to speak and being able to speak and using it as a tool, that I think they did that on purpose.
That's true. Because we could speak, they were like, they don't need sign language. But
Yeah,
then
and
because I was speaking, my reading level was not the grade that I was in.
mhm. But even for people that are more severely deaf, there's such an emphasis on them learning to speak, as if it's the best thing in society is that you have to speak, you have to speak. That's the main way of communication. So I think it's really pushed on to people opposed to using sign unless that's absolutely necessary. Would you have been open to learning sign language?
Yes, definitely. Back then, no, I never wanted to, especially like if they had introduced it to me before grade 4, grade 5, maybe I would have.
Same. I think, yeah, I think if it would have been introduced to me in grade 1, I think it would have been exciting and fun. And
Exactly, like introduce it at the very beginning, like kindergarten, preschool, like right away.
but I also think that we were already speaking and doing just fine, that they never even thought of it as an option. They only thought of, okay, let's improve their language and their speech and their writing and reading, opposed to let's introduce a whole new other thing.
I mean, not that we were doing completely fine, like there was still some struggles.
Yeah, I mean, it
Honestly,
varies student to student, so it's different for everyone. So let's move on to tips and tricks for students and teachers. Do you want to start with that, Robyn?
I will start. So, the first tip is to face the student when you talk and don't talk while you write on the board and speak clearly and at a regular pace, not too slow, not too fast.
Yeah, and then next, which is kind of similar, Give the student time to write down the information, to make notes, to process what's been said. Give them time to write it down because they're not going to be able to write down old information and retain new information that is being said. So allow for a minute, and it's not just for deaf people, it's for all students. I think that's a pretty common struggle for students across the board. So give students a little bit of time.
And make sure the students are looking at you while you're talking so that they can lip read.
Yeah, find a way to create a relationship with the deaf student, to be able to understand them and to know the ways they prefer to be addressed or to get their attention. I personally do not like when people touch me to get my attention. Some people might be okay with it. So talk to the deaf student privately and come up with a solution that you two can do together that can get the student's attention. It's not like all students are going to be purposely ignoring you, but there's a lot happening around them. There's a lot going on. So find a way that you guys can make sure you're on the same page and you can move forward in the topic being taught.
Exactly. And like sometimes the student may be tired from listening all day. They might need a break. Maybe they're not paying attention because they're tired of lip reading, trying to put everything together.
Mhm.
So maybe try and fit in some breaks every once in a while.
Yeah, it's exhausting to be surrounded with such noise, yet to still have a hard time hearing what is being said. So you're trying to lip read, you're trying to hear what they're saying, you're trying to piece together information, you're trying to pay attention to your surroundings. Like there's just so much happening for deaf people in the moment that other people might not even think about. It's really exhausting. What did you call it earlier, Robyn? What did you call that?
Concentration fatigue.
Yeah, I think I've experienced that, and I think that's pretty common for deaf people. So just be mindful that there's a lot happening and it's so tiring. By the end of the day, students are exhausted. So just take a break.
And during like class discussions or questions and things like that, make sure to repeat what the student said so that like not only does it help the deaf student, it helps everyone because
So if other
it helps.
students so if other students answer a question or suggest something, repeat what the other student said, because the deaf person is focused on the teacher to the point that whatever someone else says, they're probably not going to be able to hear what that other person said. And so if you don't repeat what the teacher says and you guys start talking about it, they are going to be trying to piece together what exactly has been said. And in the process of them trying to piece information together, they are missing what is actually being said in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like it might take us a second to like take in what was asked and then look around for who was talking.
Yeah.
And try to stay in the front of the classroom so the student can see you and lip read rather than going up and down and everywhere in the classroom.
Yeah. And most students aren't going to want to visually follow the teacher around the room. That's going to be too obvious and uncomfortable for them. So they are going to sit straight, even though they know they are missing out on a lot of information, but kids don't want to be obvious about things like that. So try to stay in the front for them. Also, the teachers can provide notes. It doesn't have to be exactly the most detailed notes, but if teachers could provide some type of general notes for their students that they can compare their notes to, and that they know that they need to study for and understand, that would really help students in the class as well. You're not giving them information that the other students haven't gotten. You're just giving them a little boost.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess it also wouldn't be a bad thing to have like an EA or someone to take notes for the student.
if that's possible. I know it's not always possible, and I know not every student wants that. For me, example, I would not have wanted a teacher right beside me in every class
Oh, not right beside, like they could sit
in
anywhere in the class.
general. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Also, to provide movies and sources for the students. I know a lot of time things are on YouTube now or online. If you guys are watching a movie and you're not able to get subtitles on it, or even if you are able to get subtitles on it, if you could provide those links for students so that they can go home and watch it again in case they missed any information. Because when you're in the classroom, there's a lot going on that they are going to miss information. So if you could send them the links, that would be really helpful for them as well. And try
I
to get subtitles on everything.
Yes, everything that helps so much.
Yeah. And I also
Um,
think to check in with the students. You don't have to check in with them every day, but check in with them on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis and say, hey, how are things going? What can I do to help? Are you struggling? Are you having a hard time? Are you good? Like, check in with your students.
yes, exactly. Because sometimes students won't feel comfortable to come up and ask for help.
Yeah. And to make it fun, don't be like, hey, how are you? Don't make it so serious, is what I'm saying. Like, hey, Robyn, how are you? How are things? How's the class? What can I do? Like, make it fun and exciting. So the student's not going to retreat into themselves and try to get out of that situation. Just make it fun.
Exactly. Develop a relationship with them.
Yeah. And you would hope that a teacher would have some type of relationship with all their students. I know that's kind of a lot, but to be able to talk to all students like that, not just deaf people.
Also, make sure to wear the FM system or microphone if it's provided by the student. Which is like the bare minimum, but like I've had teachers who would not want to wear it.
Yeah, and even come up with like a drop off solution that is discreet. I think that would help a lot of students too. Instead of the student going up to the teacher every time and handing them this box in front of all the other students, if a student could put it in the same spot every time and the teacher just goes and picks it up and puts it on without making it a big deal.
I always found the first day a little awkward because the teacher wouldn't know who I am.
See,
I would have to tell them, but then after that, like they're so used to it, I would just put it on the desk. They would see it, I put it on. It's no big
yeah.
deal.
I
Oh,
think to me, that's not okay. I don't think a teacher should ever be in the dark about a student coming into their classroom that needs maybe a little bit more help. I think that teachers should know right away so that they can prepare, that they can research or do whatever they need to do to prepare to be the best teacher. And I think a setup needs to be in place before the first day of school, because that is
exactly.
really uncomfortable for students. And unfortunately, that can set the tone for the rest of the semester. So if that was dealt with before the first day of school, I think that would help people a lot.
For sure. Even if it's a struggle in the beginning, just try different things, see what works for you.
So yeah, that's a little bit about our experiences in elementary school and hearing aids, as well as some tips and tricks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you the next time.